Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
How are you?
I'm good. How you feeling tonight?
Feeling pretty good. It's a fire background.
Oh yeah, appreciate it. I was just talking to all my supporters. We was just talking about I was telling people to come on in. Make your presence known. Hold on, my bad. I was telling people to come on in and make your presence known. Don't be no monitoring spirit. Keep
Definitely.
keep those people in where they at in the background. When you come in, you make your presence known. Speak.
Hey,
But
everyone in here that's in my stream, go ahead and shoot him a follow. Like-minded individual. He is definitely one of those real ones.
for sure, and
But before
everybody.
we get started with the question on the screen, I don't know if you want to answer some of the questions like down below.
Let me
See if
see.
anyone even asked anything.
Yeah.
Someone asked, how did you know when you were awakened?
Mm.
Appreciate the roses, by the way.
Um. You wanna answer that, or you want me to kick it off?
You can go for it, then I'll answer afterwards.
Okay. How did I know when I was awakened? It started with a lot of experiences. The it was like the fire just came. The warfare, when it came, it came. Even though the Most High, the universe was always tapping on me, but it took a lot of pain. You go through a lot of pain, and one of the things that I went through a lot of loss. I took a lot of losses. A lot of deaths back to back. I lost two little brothers. Well, I'm gonna say this. In 2020, I lost a brother. 2021, I lost another brother. 2022, I lost a son. On top of that, I was dealing with a narcissist. A narc was, with me, watching everything that I was going through, on top of everything that I was experiencing. I broke my foot, doing things I ain't had no business doing. And I kind of went to the hospital, broke my foot, and was prescribed opiates, and that was like my journey of addiction, because I was kind of suppressing a lot of my pain from, I was suppressing a lot of, my pain, the loss and everything that I was going through, because before all of that was even going on, I was just in prison for 5 years. And right before I was coming home, I had lost a brother, and then lost another brother, and then lost a son. All was unalived, due to street violence. And, like I said, I was dealing with a narcissist, just experiencing a lot of things. And it was like the Most High just spoke to me one night. I was just late night, and the Most High spoke to me and let me know that I was dealing with a narc. And when I woke up, it was no going back. It was no going back. And that was my awakening. And when I woke up, it didn't stop there. Started, as my journey, as I kind of like got over the narc and left and all of that, I started meeting, we kind of like continue to date and go on these different journeys, and I kind of like started meeting, avoidance and more narcissists and different broken souls, and just being drained from these people, and it wasn't easy, trust me. And I'm gonna just keep it there. That's how I realized that was that was like the beginning of my awakening, when I knew, I had to really lock in. But that's it. I'm
I
gonna
think
kick it
for
out to
myself,
you.
appreciate it. I think for myself, how I knew I awakened, I went into 2023 saying I'm going to start meditating, being celibate. And I had the 5-year relationship too with a narcissist. And that felt like a fever dream. Like for a lot of people, you will know that you awakened after you get that trauma from a narcissist because you will be questioning reality. But not only that, it's like when you're trying to better yourself and raise your frequency, life just starts throwing all these different things at you. And it made me start like just questioning everything. I had friends switching up, family switching up. I started seeing that they were always like this. I had a thirst for more knowledge. I thought I was going crazy. People around me thought I was going crazy. So it's like you had to go to the point of no return and then pulling yourself back out of it. You start to realize that you don't have anybody but yourself at the end of the day. So that's when I started going within, building that relationship with God, source. It just made me stronger. And as my frequency went up, I just started getting more and more different information that was just kind of piecing this whole reality together. Like everyone in the chat, I'd be saying all the answers are within. So you ask me, do you know if you're awakened? Like you'll know yourself. Like you won't even be questioning it. Like it's just something I just knew that was a fact. I just kept getting more and more downloads. And to this day, like I still get downloads, and that's why I talk about the things that I talk about. So awakening does come with its pros, but it does come with its cons as well. Like with the what we be talking about when it comes to the whole loneliness and people not understanding you. But when it comes with you, like how do you deal with people not understanding you?
Um, how do I deal with people not understanding me? Because I'm gonna say this: you do once you wake up, because the universe is gonna play tug of war with your energy, with your soul. Like if you're not, once you wake up, you're gonna have that urge to seek knowledge. You're gonna be, in the beginning, you kind of vulnerable. You looking for other people like you. You kind of like on this search for some type of answers. So, um, people start to, you start losing friends, because like you say, people start thinking that you losing your mind. People start thinking that you crazy, it was shocking to me, because most of my life I was living a life of, crime and just trying to fit in, and this was my environment, so I wanted to be accepted. So I was living like this life of crime, doing drugs, and
Oh
and
yeah, be careful with that word. Just say like rugs or something.
right, that's what I was trying to, right.
Yeah, you straight,
So
you straight.
uh once I and once I kind of like started bettering my life, going to school, uh doing content, really sharing my experiences, people started saying that I was losing my mind. They were saying like, "Oh man, y'all, man, something happened to Dion. Somebody that slipped him a Mickey or something. He losing his mind." But you would think that people would start saying like, "Man, I'm proud of you. you doing better. They don't. People start noticing, the light that you walk with. They notice the wisdom. They notice a lot of things, so they kind of start projecting. They start projecting because they want to make you feel like you doing something wrong. They want to make you feel like you losing your mind. So how you deal with it, how I deal with it, I really put it in their face. Because the more that I'm authentic, yes, you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose a lot of people. People going to watch you from the background. People are going to be envious, but at the same time, they kind of admire and they kind of like, how is he able to speak like that? How is he able to, have so much wisdom? So they want to make you look bad or make you like you going crazy, especially when you helping people and people start, rocking with you and telling you, because most of your supporters is going to come from people that you never met. And the people that actually know you, they not really gonna support you. They gonna whisper about you, call around about you. They gonna do whatever to try to make you uncomfortable and make you lose your confidence. But you have to fight through that. You have to really step into your authenticity, because that is one of the most powerfulest energies on this planet. Once you start really, tapping into that side, because a lot of people don't have that confidence. So, how you deal with it, you just deal with it. It's something that, because you can't go back. You can't go back to that person. The universe not gonna let you. You're not gonna feel comfortable. You're gonna go through a lot trying to go back to that. And you just have to go through that isolation. And the universe, God, really wants you to be alone and go within and find yourself. You can't be really trying to focus on relationships, and that's what we mess up too. We trying to date around and we trying to make throw our mind off. It's kind of like we trying to like make ourselves kind of like, so we won't think about certain things. No, you gotta tap in, no matter what. You gotta tap in. You gotta just do it. It's no going back. People gonna judge you, especially the people that knew you from your past. They gon' it is what it is. Like you gotta just keep going. That's the only way. Because on the other side, it's better opportunities. When you holding yourself back, you kind of blocking your blessings. You blocking opportunities. That's why I say you have to tap into that authenticity. You have to tap into those experiences and just let it all out. And the people that are not meant to come with you, you will know. You will know. You will feel the energy. You will feel people just, envious. Even like once you start really, really like glowing up and, start gaining more supporters, people will sense, like, man, something different about him, something different. He gonna, make it. You know, people gonna start seeing that, and people gonna start trying to come around you, but they'll try to come around you, and they don't even like you. So, yeah, that's I ain't gonna keep it too long, but that's the way that was. This is how I deal with it. I just stay in my own lane, and I'll just let people hate, let people be jealous, let people, and I know who to stay away from. I make sure I don't be around people from my past. I try to like block those people. I don't want to be around them. Period. But yeah, that's how I deal with them. What
I'm
about
pretty
you? How you deal with them?
kind of like the same thing you said. More so, I don't, and I've only been able to get that way because when it comes with awakening, you start to have to be by yourself. You're kind of forced into that isolation season, and that was good for me because the old me loved being around people that was toxic. I was always chasing the validation of like other people, and that was always getting me into like the worst types of trouble. But after I went through my isolation season, now I have the discernment to be like, okay, I shouldn't be around that person. Let me cut them out. I shouldn't be talking to this person. And I'm able to control who I have into my life. And ever since I did that, like my life has been kind of like just way better. You start to realize that the people that are around you that vibrate low, they put you under like these witchcraft spells. They make you unconfident in yourself, lower your self-esteem. And then because our thoughts create our reality, you start thinking like, why isn't my life going good? Why does things that come easier to other people? Why am
Mm,
I like struggling with these certain things? And
yes.
then that's why I tell a lot of people when you're on this path, you probably got to get away from your family members. You probably got to get away from your friends because when you do that, life is going to take off for you. And
Mm,
also know that the people you currently have in your life that you don't want to let go, that are toxic for you, there's going to be better people out there. And if you don't think so, that's a spell. People
mm,
have you thinking that like the people being emotionally unavailable, the people that's like verbally abusing you guys and doing all these bad things. Like it's not supposed to be like that. Like the good people are out there, but it's all about alignment. So when it comes to like how do I deal with those people that's not on my frequency, like I don't. And if they try to come around me, my boundaries and my self-love is gonna make them get away from me pretty fast. And I'm still trying to figure out how to attract the people that think like me. That's why social media is a blessing in disguise. Yes, social media has a lot of bad with it, but the fact that we can just hop on like a call right now, talk to people in the chat, that makes the path like a little bit easier.
yeah.
But but yeah, when it comes to we can move into like the soul contracts. Like,
Mm.
do you ever have a regret of like being a light worker, coming down here with a mission? Like, what would you say are some of the pros and cons to that?
Um.
I know one thing we talked about was like the jealousy that you'll get from like other people.
Yeah. Like I'm gonna say, we just talked about this the other. We just talked. We be having our own personal conversations, and even though it's definitely one of the hardest paths, that a person can endure, because when you truly on this journey, when you truly one of them ones, like, you're not gonna have many friends. Like, you can get that out. You can get that out the window. You can throw that out the window. You know what I'm saying? You can throw that
Yeah.
out the window because people are gonna be too triggered by your light. They're gonna be too triggered. Even the ones that you think that are not triggered, and this is your dog. The people from your past. You probably, y'all been locked in, but once you really tap in and you go on that journey and you start shining your light, and like me and bro, we do content. So that alone brings a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy. And this path is, I wouldn't say I don't regret it, but it's a very lonely, you love being alone. You love that isolation because it brings you peace. But sometimes you do want to just kick it. You do want to just vibe sometimes with certain people, but you cannot go back to those same people. You cannot even, it was a few times on this journey, I'm gonna say like once or twice, where I popped up, to past friends. It was at a funeral. Yeah, it was at a funeral and a repast. And you know, and people probably haven't seen me in probably 2, 3 years, and all they've been seeing is me all over social media, shining my light, talking about everything that I talk about: spiritual warfare, narcissists. You know, people watch me from afar. People have been talking about me, calling around. They watch. So when you show up, it's like they've seen a ghost in a way. It's like and you can kind of pick up the envy, the jealousy, people trying to fake kick it with you. And you know what I'm saying? People trying to humble you, people trying to, all that, you're going to experience people trying to humble you, people saying slick stuff out their mouth, you know, everything. And it just remind you, all that just remind you of who you are. Because sometimes we forget. Sometimes, we forget, who we are. Sometimes we gotta look in the mirror. But once you put yourself around them type of people, they gonna remind you who you are. Because they
Fact.
go they gonna start, like I said, they gonna be trying to humble you, saying slick stuff, you know, picking little, just picking stuff with you. And like I say, some people will be trying to get close to you, hang with you, and but they really don't even like you. And then, like, it's so many different energies that you will pick up. You'll be like, even when you walk past people and wherever, like, all eyes on you. You know what I'm saying? Even when they try not to look, and like, people can't keep, when you really one of them ones, like, you literally like up under a microscope. So um the pros and cons is, the pros is just really finding yourself, really tapping into that authenticity within you, really finding yourself. And you kind of learn, that you can't be attached to a lot of things, even with trying to be in a relationship. That's going to be one of the hardest things. Battles after battle after battle, like, it's going to be hard. But you know you just find that peace when you helping other people. When people inbox me and tell me how much, I've helped them on their journey, that alone override anything, any uh isolation and fake friends, and that overrides everything, knowing that I've helped someone on their journey. Because I'm very genuine. It's not a lot of genuine people that's on this path. You have to know how to discern who to connect with, because there is the the infiltration is real, you know, all in the spiritual community. People is just doing it, you know, to get rich. You know, of course, you know, we still have to take care of our family, and you know, the energy. Sometimes people want to just trauma dump on you, and people have to understand that we still dealing with this matrix. We still need money to survive. You know what I'm saying? It's not all about money, you know, because I love helping people, but I'm not gonna just let somebody trauma dump on me, you know. So, like I say, I don't regret nothing, you know. I really don't, because I know in the end, I know I'm gonna win. I know it's gonna make me a better person, you know. Everything that I've been through, you know, this is the journey. You know, you go through some of the worst, you know, people brag about being, you know, chosen, but it's not nothing to brag about. It's one of the hardest journeys that a person could ever walk. You know, you will go through spiritual warfare with your family. You know, you know, with your kids. You know, people don't even understand that you can't live up to the world's expectations of what you supposed to be doing, or oh, your kids don't like you, or it's like, you have to understand you are different. You gonna go through, because these people are possessed by demons, you know. Social media, money, material things, so many different things that will possess a child. Even, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't understand that is who these people target first. They targeting the youth. So when you the person that's really breaking generational curses, and you really standing on what you believe in, standing on what's right, you will deal with people, family members, all type of people, kids that will be, you know, you will go through the spiritual warfare. People trying to use you for money, use you for this, use you for that. You just cannot live up to nobody's expectations of what you should be doing. This is your journey. You can't worry about, oh, he not doing this. Oh, he ain't taking care of it. Oh, he not doing this. He not, you got, bro, these people are demons. And once you know this journey and you understand this journey, and you know another chosen one or a person that's on this path, they will already understand. You ain't even got a question, because you know that it's not easy. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't wanna, you know, go too deep. I'm gonna leave it there.
Yeah,
What
now you
about you?
good. Everything you be saying, like I be resonating with it. So like we be having these conversations, and I always say like when you have conversations, you're either giving energy, taking it, or sharing. And me and you, we're just like kind of like relating with each other, and at the same time having the people in the chat that are in alignment understand us. But
Sure.
when it comes to me, and do I ever regret like being a light worker and signing that soul contract? I would say like 20% of the time. Like I recognize the pros that comes with it. You get the
Right.
discernment. You could manifest at such a fast rate. Everything kind of just seems to be working in your favor because you're on the highest path. But then we always got to talk about like everything has its pros and cons. And the cons
Sure.
means that a lot of times we're going to be hated without cause. And
Mm.
that was something that kind of threw me off growing up because for a large period of time, like I thought I was the issue. And I don't know if you guys in the chat felt the same way. If you did, drop a one in the chat. But I will always just think that, oh, is it something I'm doing wrong? Do I got to kind of change how I'm doing this. Do I got to like this? But then you realize that you can be acting just like these people. They're still not going to like you because at the end of the day, it's a spiritual thing. And because of like how I grew up, I never thought I even had anything special. I thought something was wrong with me. So you're never going to think to yourself like, oh, this person's jealous or they're envious because they're doing that. I thought if they didn't say it out loud, I just thought like, oh, like it has to kind of be in my head. Come
Right.
to find out that everyone's like wearing a mask, everyone is pretending. That's one thing about Earth I don't like. Like people like it's like you have to kind of read between the lines. Discernment makes it a little bit easier because you can kind of read what they're saying. But the fact that like we are the authentic ones and we mean what we say, but they are on a whole different wavelength, that's where like I find like the disconnect. And that's why I don't like talking to a lot of people because every time I speak, it's like someone's getting triggered. I'm like, what did I say? I can't really be on autopilot with like other people. Other people, it seems like it comes easy. Like they're just talking, it's just natural. Ever since I awakened, I'm like having conversations is like the hardest thing in the world. And I be trying, but just as the demons can't pretend forever, we can't hide who we are for forever.
Nope.
So being in like large groups of people, that's just like a no. Like I hear other people say they're going on a group trip. I hear other people saying they're celebrating their 15th friendship anniversary. I'm like, that can never be me, bro. If I try to have a friend, I got 3 to 6 months before they start to like try to take me out. And when it comes to like betrayal, people in the Matrix, the type of betrayal they go through, it's bad. But with us, they try to take us out. Like they do like the weirdest things. I keep asking myself, like, is this normal? And I'll open up to other people in the Matrix and they can't see what you're seeing. So like you'll be talking about it, but then they're like kind of all in on it. So they have to kind of cover up what they're doing. And that's what was kind of throwing me off. But that is the cons. Like you don't really get understood. You can't really have conversations with people. But at the same time, like I love it because like I said, I love having discernment. Even the people in the Matrix, they're still going through spiritual warfare. They just don't know they're going through it. Like I have friends open up to me about things that's going on. And in my head, I'll be thinking like, oh, that's a narcissist. Oh, this is what's going on. If you
Right.
did this, that will be like that. But with those friends, I got to keep like the conversation surface level because you can only meet people as far as they met themselves. I used to think that having this knowledge, I can save my friends, wake up my family members. But this knowledge actually gets you in trouble because when you know more and you're outside of this matrix, you become a threat, you become a problem. They start projecting all this stuff onto me, saying that you're arrogant, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about. So you kind of have to like when you go outside, you have to kind of like people say don't dim your light, and I agree to that to a certain extent. If you're in an area where like it doesn't matter, you don't have to dim your light. But telling that to someone in every situation is kind of dangerous because if you go into a 9 to 5 and you don't dim your light, they're gonna bully you and they're gonna get you out of there ASAP. So you have to kind of be strategic. Like you have to kind of be aware at all times, know who you're dealing with. Your discernment makes it a little bit easier, but there's always going to be that person that slips under the cracks. So that's the thing about discernment. Like you will never know everything where you'll be able to protect yourself 100% of the time because your discernment is still getting stronger and new levels, new devils. You might meet that one person where they finally do something new, but at the same time, we learn very fast. So like we can catch these things as we go. Like, have you noticed that? Like with your pattern recognition, like you could
Yes.
pick up things and like analyze people like really good.
Yes, I pick up, and that's like I say, that's a pro and a con in itself. You know what I'm saying? Because you're able to, to pick up on patterns, you know, micro expressions, you know, everything. You know what I'm saying? Even sometimes you don't even have to, like in the beginning, people will see something in you. They'll be attracted to your light. People want to be your friend. Oh, bro, da 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 this. Trying to kick it with you. But as time goes on, they always throw a monkey wrench in the game. You know, they start trying to humble you, or let's just say a woman come around. You know, they change up their whole personality. Now they trying to uh, act like they just so superior over you. You know, you bring out people's shadows. You know, even people that's broken. You know what I'm saying? Whatever trauma that they're going through, you don't even have to do nothing. You can just exist, and these people will start walking on eggshells around you, you know, saying that, you know, you're crazy, it's you, you know, especially when you start to call these people out on their bullshit. You know, you're able to see, you know, because a lot of these people, they've they've only dealt with surface level people. So when they come around you and you're able to see things that they've been hiding forever, you know, they kind of became the mask. You know, they so rooted in their trauma that you kind of like shake these people up, you know, and they can feel like they can't really hide their mask around you. They can feel that they're, you know, this person is making it hard for me to hold my mask up, you know. So a lot of people will run from you, you know. They'll blame you for a lot of things, you know. And I want to ask you this: has dating for a light worker, has dating been hard for you? And what are some of the experiences that you had to go through? And you know, it kind of, yeah, what are some of the experiences that you had to go through and you kind of like, okay, I'm done dating, I'm gonna just focus on me.
Yeah, I
Right.
got you. I think a lot of us in here can relate to like the dating the narcissist. And while I was with that
Right.
person, I didn't know it was a spiritual thing. But that was when that experience I can see now, it was like my light attracted someone. Uh, because narcs like to use like empaths and like light workers to siphon them. But I didn't know that's what was happening. So the whole time, like I would be trying to communicate, or because also too, like with the narc, like I don't want to make it seem like it was all like the other person. Because another thing I'm
Damn.
seeing is like when you meet like a karmic or something, they show you something that you need to work on, and it's either you heal and get to the next level or you stay stuck in that cycle. So there were things I needed to work on, but at the same time the narc was just draining me, and that kind of showed me that like love was conditional. And I after
Mm.
that I started thinking that love was conditional with everybody. But when I kind of got more tapped in with source, I'm like, oh no, there's people like us. There are soulmates, but it's gonna be really hard to find it if you're working on yourself. Because honestly, I thought that when you healed, worked on yourself, I thought dating got easier. But then as the more I went up, the more I started to see like I had less and less of a pool of people to choose from. And I was thinking to myself, like, why would I keep going forward? Like, this is like so lonely. But then at the same time, like, it's how I'm wired. I'm just gonna keep pushing forward. But there was a time, like because when it comes to spirituality, you can't be like 1 foot in and then 1 foot out. Like I was like learning the knowledge and going up, but at the same time, I'm like, yo, this is lonely. So I was dating people that I knew I shouldn't have dated. I guess you could say like doing it for the plot. Like I was still dating people within the matrix. I told myself I could ignore what I was seeing and will still be good. But then, like you said, like your energy brings out their demons.
Yes.
They start projecting like 100 and million different things on me, and I'd be thinking at least I could communicate and make sure they're good. I'm like, nah, like it was like dating, like the people I would date. It's like there was like two people. The one that does want to love me the right way, but then they got that demon that comes out every now and then to just like start attacking me. And that's
Right.
what was happening with like a lot of people. And I started realizing that like, oh, I can't really like chase anymore. I can't really go out there and date like a normal person. I have to
Mhm.
be someone that attracts it. And then when you meet people that's in alignment, then that's when it's gonna work out. Like when it comes to like you and this chat, for example, I didn't go out looking for you guys. Like you guys found me. And I started talking, and you're like, oh, he thinks like me. And we're in alignment and things just work out. But if you're just like somebody is like, oh, she's cute, I'm gonna ignore all that other stuff and try to make it work, it's not gonna work. Okay, it's like a puzzle. It's like when I was my worst version, I was able to fit into a lot of other people's puzzles. But now that I'm at this level, I could only fit with certain people. But I'm gonna throw it right back to you. Like, how's dating been for you?
Um, Dating has been the worst because, like you say, it's like two sides to these people. In the beginning, the honeymoon phase, it be all cool, but you see the red flags in the beginning because most of these people, especially when you on your journey, and like me, I do content. We both do content, so people kind of like scope us out, way before we know that this is what they doing. So these people kind of like try to find things to learn about you and try to act like they're into certain things that you into as well. And that was one of my experiences that I went through where this female kind of like um she was studying me way before she was studying me for about 3 years. I'm studying for about 3 years, and she's saying the whole transition. And when I gave her a chance, because she was uh making herself known that she's been interested for years, and I kind of gave her a chance, just doing some, just like I say, bored, just doing some. And even after the first conversation that we had over the phone, and when I hung up the phone, I told myself, I'm like, Dion, I literally said this to myself. I'm like, Dion, now this ain't gonna work because I picked up, some energy. I picked up some, you feel something. Once you're on this path for so long, you know what to do and what not to do, and sometimes, we have to, we want to give people the benefit of the doubt. We want to see, it's our intuition. It's really the discernment is, we kind of just want to see, that's just something that we do as humans. We keep doing things, but at a certain point, you really lock in and you like, okay, I can't do that no more. I ain't even finna try. I ain't even finna nothing. But like I say, at this point in time, I gave it a chance, and I tried to ignore. I tried to ignore as much as possible. I tried my hardest, but that's really you sacrificing your comfortability just to make somebody else comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And even when I wasn't doing nothing, I can be in my own world trying to do some content in the room by myself. Um, just quietness, silence was a problem for her. You know what I'm saying? She would she would dump on me through intimacy. You know what I'm saying? She was going through so much trauma. her mother was a narc, so she was going through something with that. When it was all said and done, she ended up being an avoidant, and she would always say, I shouldn't have to walk on eggshells around my man. And I used to be like, why? Why do you have to walk on eggshells around me when I'm not doing nothing? Like I literally I was never the problem, And it was she knew that I was able to see things, call things out, you know what I'm saying? Um, I remember one day she just woke up angry one day, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Now we ain't finna do this, and I would call things out and uh, make her accept accountability, and she didn't like that. And once she seen that I was too aware, you know, it was over with. She ran, and I'm gonna say this, even when you have to be careful, because even when like you not looking for people will come and find you, and they will be broken. They will be full of trauma. You know what I'm saying? And they will be attracted to your light. And you will run across so many different fractured souls and demons, and it's like you will be asking yourself like, wow, I wasn't going through this a couple of years ago. You will be like, I wasn't going through this a couple of years ago with dating. But you kind of understand, like, you were still in the matrix, you were still a part of the matrix, you wasn't tapped in, you didn't like, it's like it's like everything that you go through, you kind of like graduate, your abilities heighten, your nervous system heighten, awareness, everything kind of like turn up on you. And sometimes, we kind of just, you know, we'll study a lot of things, and we'll just be thinking, our people just, nah, that ain't real, da 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 this. But it's real. Once you start experiencing things and going through things, and you really wake up, oh, it's over with. It's over. It's
Yeah.
it's over with. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. It's over with.
I got another question for you too, like talking about the whole dating thing, because I think with the whole like awakened souls, you got like there was one group where they believe that there are soulmates, there are twin flames, and then you got one group that's like you guys are still dating. That doesn't exist. It's just a social construct. Do you ever think that awakened souls are just here to like be by themselves, or like what's your opinion on that?
Mm, that's a tough one. I think I'm not gonna hold you. I truly think that we are here on a mission that, if we do connect with someone or be in a relationship, that person has to be so healed. They can't be like so focused on intimacy. They can't be so focused on everything that everybody, let's go on a date, let's go do this, let's go, they can't be just draining. They have to respect your calling, have to respect your journey, and it has to be like a different type of relationship. It cannot be because just because someone is spiritual or whatever the case may be, it doesn't mean that they are not still holding trauma. You know, some people are not for you. And I just think that I think I think that we could probably date, but it cannot be like, you know, everybody else. It has to be like more of like a partnership. You know, it can't be like a super romantic and, you know, clingy for sure. No, you know, that person has to be healed. You know, that person has to be unique like you. That person has to sort of kind of really respect respect your calling, respect your journey, give you your space. They have to like be on a certain level. They cannot be in this matrix at all. They have to. It's just I feel like a special person for a special person. That's all I can say. Trying to date outside of that, you ain't doing nothing but setting yourself up for failure. And I've been, it's not failure because every relationship, every situation, you learn something. You know, you pick up more wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I deal with somebody, I pick up more wisdom. And, you know, people will look at you, family members will look at you like, dang, this dude cannot keep a relationship for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because obviously they don't understand. Obviously, you know, people will never understand. So it is not for them to understand. Um, what you think about it? What you think about relationships and this journey?
I saw someone put a perfect comment down there. I think it depends on the personal contract. I think some people did sign a contract to like you're gonna find their person. And some people, I think they probably already experienced what they're looking for in this lifetime. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like a very confusing question because you can get a whole different answer from a bunch of different people. I can talk about my personal experience and like what I've seen is the deeper we go, like I was saying earlier, it makes it harder because a lot of people don't like depth. They just like surface level things. I
Yeah.
can go out there and have a relationship, but when you start being spiritual, the things that they're looking for, like I'm not looking for it. Like when I was unawakened, like girls would just want to just have smecks and stuff like that. And unawakened, that was cool. But now that I'm awakened, I'm more so on the sapiosexual, demisexual like spectrum, where like I
Mm-hmm.
gotta like actually vibe with you. And then like I said, like it becomes harder and harder to find that person. But I'm sticking on the stance of like I do think soulmates are out there. I also think that you can have multiple soulmates. You just have to be in alignment. And on top of that too, like I like how this world is set up where it's like we can complain about the situations that we're in, but it's set up where like it's on us, you get me? It's on us to heal, it's on us to figure it out. And if we are figuring it out, we could eventually get into alignment to find that person. And if that person hasn't popped up, it's like, what else do we have to learn? So whenever I'm going through like these bad experiences, that's at one point I was complaining about that. I used to kind of be a victim to my circumstances. I'm like, why am I going through this? This is horrible. Da, da, da. But then once you understand that, like, once you start figuring things out, like, you can attract that person. And what kind of gave me hope in like the whole dating scene is once again, like social media. Like, I be thinking I'm an alien when I walk out there in the world, but I come on here and I start talking, and then people down in chats like facts, real, this and that. I'm like, oh, there's people that think like me that's out there. But when it comes to that soul contract, you realize we were here with a mission and that we were put here to raise the vibration of the planet. And there's not that many of us, and we're all kind of spread out. But at least you know that person's out there. And I believe, like in the white string theory, I think that's what it's called. That if you're just doing what you're supposed to do, life is going to set it up in a way when you meet that person. But at the same time, like, I feel like you have to kind of like learn the lessons, because you don't want to be someone that is going to self-sabotage when you finally get to that person. Because
Mm,
just as like you're waiting for them, they're waiting for you as well. And it's like you guys both have to be on the same level when you meet each other. But like I
mm,
said, that's like my perspective. I know a lot of other people have like different perspectives. So when
mhm.
it comes to the whole romance and dating, it's always a cool topic to talk about, like when we get into these spirituality concepts.
Yeah, I want to say this too. You know, a lot of women that's in the matrix, they don't like to be rejected. And I have had a lot of women that was attracted to me, and they would let it be known that they're interested. But I would like kind of like already see, you know, their trauma. I will already see where things are gonna go bad at. So I don't even cross that bridge. And when you kind of like reject these people, they end up kind of like creating a narrative about you, saying that, I'm gonna say Shay, you know what I mean? uh,
Yeah,
they call you, try to demasculate you, if that's the right word. Yeah.
yeah,
And it would be times where, we were really cool friends. Every time we see each other, it will be mutual respect and, all love. But once you shoot them down, for a romantic relationship, they'll kind of become, you know, bitter and um, act weird and act a certain type of way. And that alone lets me know what type of person that you are and to kind of stay away from you. And, it was a time where I brung this up to a person that, I kind of was comfortable with, letting her know that, I'm on this journey. And when I shot her down, she was acting a certain type of way. And of course, they gonna deny it, and and I think eventually, she ended up saying that, that there were things that she needed to work on too, and things like that. And I still see her a lot, on social media, and I just pay attention and see that, she's full of trauma, full of a lot of wounds, just wanting to be uh wanting some type of relationship, wanting to be seen, or whatever the case may be. And this woman is very intelligent, has the potential, very smart, very intelligent, knows a lot of history, know a lot. But I can tell like she kind of a know-it-all too at the same time. Don't like to be wrong, wanna correct people. Um, I can just see what things would go wrong, especially where she's one of those people that, like I say, she's very intelligent, very smart, knows a lot of history, knows a lot of knows about a lot of politics, knows about a lot. But it's a thin line between that genuineness and then that ego, and I see it and I'm like, nah, nah, I'm not even going to even play them type of games.
Facts.
So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. You know, people, you know, when you're on this journey, um, like I said, it's been times where I had a woman over and I didn't um become intimate with her. I just was kind of like kicking back, chilling, and she ended up calling her friend like, "Yeah, girl, this he ain't even touch me, and you know he's different." And da da da. She was trying to make it seem like she liked it, but then I think the second day I didn't do it, she kind of was like insecure and asked me, "Was I?" And I'm like, "No, you know, I'm just not thirsty. You know, I'm not like every other guy that just feel like, oh, we just have to do that. You know what I'm saying? If it happens, it happens. I'm not forcing it. I just want to just kick back, you know, enjoy your company." But, you know, once she said that, it kind of like hit it in her mind that, you know, I was whatever. And I'm like, nah, I ain't, you know, and it's sad that when you don't become intimate with a woman because they're so used to that's all men are focused on is, you know, being intimate and doing that. So when they run across somebody that's just not really thirsty, you know, just be chilling, you know, they kind of get insecure or they create this narrative, and it's just it's sad. It's sad, bro. And I don't know. It's just sad. I'm gonna leave it there. It's just sad, man. It is. And
And so,
go ahead.
no, I was just gonna ask you. I was gonna say I'm gonna ask you one more question because I'm gonna upload this stream onto YouTube. I want it to be like an hour. But thoughts on twin flames? Do you believe in them? And if you do, like, what's your opinion on them?
I do believe in twin flames. I don't know. I have knowledge of, you know, the twin flame dynamic, but I just feel like, you know,
Hey, real fast though, the comments, bro, have you crying? I
what?
brought up twin flames. They going in right now. They're like, nightmare, brace yourself.
I
Yeah, they
know.
got those opinions on those twin flames.
I no longer believe in twin flame. My narc, my baby daddy. Okay, so I'm gonna just say, yeah, I do believe in it. I believe in the dynamic. I believe that once, you know, because you have one person that possibly healed and then the other person is not really healed, so you kind of like um could become a catalyst for that person, and you know that sometimes they end up running off because, you know, and sometimes I think that's where, like, you know, the thin line between your twin flame and the avoided. You know what I'm saying? You kind of don't know if it's kind of like hard to um determine like to the difference. I'm gonna say that because even though that situation happened um with the avoidant, because I found out she was in the avoidant or whatever, we had a lot of talks. um she was saying that, you know, she kind of like had dreams about me uh a lot, you know, and my energy. And you know, we just I'm gonna just say, you know, sometimes I think about the situation. You know what I'm saying? I think about, like, if it could have been that, I just feel like they either gonna heal, and a lot of people don't heal, bro. I ain't gonna
Facts.
lie. A lot of people don't. They don't. They just go back to what they're used to. They go back to because the Matrix is very powerful. You know, the music, the 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 social media. People are kind of like really uh deeply rooted in those things, and people don't understand that a lot of demons can evolve inside of you just from the things that you are programmed from, the things that you give your attention to so much. You know, everything that we consume on these devices. So it's so powerful, and that's why I tell a lot of people, you know, that just flood their kids with these tablets and phones, you know, just to keep their kids quiet, you know. So that's like kind of like not the best thing to do, because you don't know what your kids uh sneaking doing and picking up and whatever, or seeing. It's kind of hard to avoid those things. Um and demons and ego can form within our youth. You know, people think that these little devices can be a gift. It can be a good thing and a curse, because trust me, you know, I can dive deep in it, but I'm gonna just stick to the twin flame thing. It's all about that person healing, you know, and if they heal, and if you guys kind of like meet back up, the dynamic could be different. You know, it's up to it's a choice if you all wanna um make it a relationship. You know, but once that person heal, you know, they don't really be thinking about a romantic relationship or whatever the case may be. I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna just leave it there because I know you want to upload your video, but I'm gonna just leave it there. Yeah, it's a lot of people don't heal. I'm gonna just say that a lot of people, they think they be healing, but they don't. They don't be healed. They
Yeah,
don't.
I feel it. Yeah, we are going to end it right there. But to add on to what you were saying, twin flames, me myself, I do believe in it. But it's like you said, if they heal, they can figure things out. But the thing is, who's really doing the healing? That's why you probably always have someone running and someone probably being in the anxious attachment state. And then
Mhm.
sometimes I think that if both heal, will they even want each other at the end of that dynamic? But yeah, I appreciate you coming up, like for real, for real.
For sure. I appreciate you having me, man. We do this again for sure.
Yeah, of course. Everyone, W Dion in the chat, shoot him a follow. He's one of the main, only real ones I be talking to on here. I don't follow that much people on here, but yeah, he definitely know what he be talking about.
For sure. And I'm gonna end this live. I'm gonna call it a night, guys. You know, it was good being on here. It was good seeing everybody. Um, support, follow me. You know, I appreciate everybody. You know, and we're gonna do this again if y'all, you know, if anybody like what we did today, you know, you can shoot me a DM or shoot bro a DM. You know, let us know how y'all felt about this live and what we could do different. Um, questions we could answer next time. You know, just let us know, and I'm gonna end it there.
Appreciate it.
All right.
I'm gonna stay on the live for probably like 15, 30 minutes. I don't know if you're gonna be up afterwards. We can have that FaceTime. Or if you want to do
Sure.
it tomorrow, we can do that.
Just call me, bro. Just
I
call me.
got you.
I bet.
All right, Brody.